Welcome everyone to our September monthly gathering. First of all, everyone please be on mute and turn on your camera because we all want to see your face. As part of our online security and privacy guidelines, I will encourage you not to use your full name. We are grateful for Uncle Chuck, aka Dylan's and Carissa's dad, to provide an informative and interactive session to educate the adults and kids about cyber safety. This is a major concern since we are using more internet and social media during this pandemic. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Uncle Chuck.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Cyber Safety for Kids session. And right now I'll be going through your logistics. So this session today will be recorded. It will be posted on Facebook and YouTube. Everybody please stay on mute. Please ask questions in the chat section.
Hey, just bear with me for 1 second while I share my screen with everybody. Hey, can everybody see my screen properly? Thumbs up, we're good to go,
Yep.
Okay? Good, thank you everyone for attending today. Carissa?
Okay, so I'll be running through the agenda. Our session today will be split into 5 sections for you all. The first section is the world that we live in today. So in this section, we'll be presenting some statistics and data about the internet. Our second section is online risks and what we can do. So we'll be talking about some online risks such as malware, phishing, and some risks on social media. What else? Here we'll be presenting some additional safety tips for you all. Here comes the data. We'll be running through the survey results, which you all should have filled out. And lastly, we'll have a Q&A. So now I'll be presenting some information about our speaker for today, Chuck Wong, my dad. He has worked in IT for more than 25 years. He has worked in cybersecurity since 2006. He has held the position of the Asia Pacific Chief Information Security Officer for a multinational company for 6 years. And he has now had more than 15 years of cybersecurity experience. Please welcome Chuck Wong.
Thank you, Zach, Dylan, and Carissa for the fine introduction. As Carissa stated, we'll be talking about some very interesting information about the internet and being online. So let's jump right into it. Okay, I'd like to start off with some interesting stats. Global internet users. In 1995, there was really only 16 million people that had internet access. That's about 0.4% of the world population. And as you can see, it's growing steadily over the years. In 2005, that's I guess when some of our older cubs were born, roughly, there was about 1 billion users on the internet, about 15% of the world population. And then in 2010, it went up to almost 2 billion. And I guess that's where most of the cubs were born by that time. And then finally in 2015, I would assume that's roughly when our youngest cub would have been born, about 3.3 billion users worldwide. Today, We have 4.8 billion users on the internet. That's about 62% of the world population that has internet access. And as we continue, it will continue to climb more and more as internet access becomes easier for people to get access. Now, some other interesting information about internet usage broken up into different parts of the world. As you can see in North America, almost everybody has internet access, right? 95% of users have internet access. So it's not the US, it's US and Canada, North America. But it's a very different picture in Africa. There are only 39% of people have access to it, and the world average is about 58%, 59%. Now, let's get ready for our first poll question. Please get ready. Lawrence is going to help us present the first poll. And the question is, for everybody to guess, is if Oceania internet usage is about 67%, what do you think Australia is at? So the answer is 86.5% of Australia have internet access. So almost 22 million people in Australia have internet access. So I was going to do one more poll here, but because it's not working, we'll just give you the answer. So we want to ask how many internet websites are there globally today. So in 1990, that was when the first internet website popped up. Number of internet sites today, almost 1.8 billion internet websites today, active websites today. That includes your social media stuff and anything that's on the internet. Okay, now we'll talk about social media a little bit. So growth on social media. If you can see back in the early 2000s, there were very few people using social media. So that's kind of the beginning where social media is, right? 2004, you can see that people started using social media, but look at social media users back in 2018. 2.2 billion users on Facebook, almost 2 billion YouTube, and then I guess a lot of people's favorite app these days, TikTok, there was 500 million users. Now, actually, TikTok has gone up from 500 million to 800 million. So you can see the growth of social media. More and more people are using social media today. In fact, if you look at this slide is from a study that was done on the safey website. It's a government website. And the top 5 social media website was YouTube. A lot of people using YouTube, the #1 favorite social media service for kids and teenagers. So online risks and what we can do. So moving on, let's talk about malware. Does everybody know what malware is? No? Well, I'm gonna tell you. What is malware? Malware is some type of program that that can go onto your computer, your iPhone, your iPad, your Android phone, and make it sick. So what I mean by make it sick is it may crash your computer, it may crash your device, it may slow down your device. Funny things may pop up. It just does funny things. That's usually no good for your device, right? So you gotta be careful of some of those things. And then in this little diagram, I show the different type of viruses out there that could infect your computer. So total number of viruses in the world, back in 2011, there was only 65 million malware. Now today, there's almost 1.1 billion malware out there. Each day, there's about 300,000 new malware being reported, and all those malware can do damage to your device. So you gotta be really careful, right? What you download from the internet, what links you click on, they're all possible ways for you to get malware. And Windows devices, your Windows computer and stuff, are the most popular for people to infect. Really, actually, the statistics show that more than 90% of the malware out there is made for Windows devices. So what will malware do? Again, I said it makes your device sick, right? It slows it down, it crashes it, etc. Here's one example I want to show. So your computer slows down, and then the bad guys show the screen pop up on your device, right? And what do? They tell you, hey, we can help you fix your computer. Just call this number. Give me some information. Give me your credit card information, and then we can fix it for you. Some people, what they do, they panic, they're scared, and then they do call the number, right? They do give the information. But what are the thieves trying to do? The bad guys trying to do? They're really just trying to steal your information, right? And make some money off of you. They may sell your credit card information, your personal information, so they can make money out of it. Here's another example. This is a ransomware example. What a ransomware does, it actually runs on your computer or your device. It starts locking the files on your device so you cannot access the file. You can't open the files anymore. And then if it locks your files and you want access to it, what do you have to do? They ask you to pay them, right? They ask you to pay them, and then they will unlock your files. This is very popular these days. In 2020, there's some statistics out there that are saying that ransomware attacks have already caused $240 million of damage to Australia businesses. So what can we do? Keep your devices up to date, okay? So regardless if it's your computer, your laptop, your phone, try to keep it up to date, right? Make sure you turn on auto update if you can, because all the software will always have something wrong with the vulnerabilities, right? And then if you update your software, your social media stuff, it will help protect you. It will help get rid of those vulnerabilities. Install anti-malware software. There's I list some there for you guys to take a look at. But basically, what this does, it will detect those malware, and it will help to delete them, get them off your device for you, right? So it helps protect your device. And last thing is back up your device if you can, right? And back it up on a regular basis if you can. Back it up on an external hard drive or your iCloud or some type of cloud platform. But make sure you disconnect it from your computer if you're using external drive, because if your computer gets infected by ransomware, it will encrypt the internal hard drive, but it will also encrypt your external hard drive, right? So once you make a good backup, you store it away somewhere. Take it off your computer and store it away. And if you can, encrypt your backup, but just be careful, because if you encrypt your backup, you have to remember the password. Next, we're going to talk about email, spam, and phishing. Does anybody know what that is? Yes, no, Reed?
You can mute if you know what it is.
You guys can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you want. No, okay. So Nathan doesn't know what it is. Okay. So what is spam? Spam is not the yummy food we get from the supermarket, okay? It's not that. It's junk mail, right? It's emails that people send you that you're not expecting, you don't want it, but they try to trick you to do something, right? Click on a link or do something, and it's usually bad. So you gotta be careful, right? What is phishing? Phishing is also bad emails, but they're more specific, right? They're trying to steal your information. They're trying to steal your credit card information, right? But they make it look like the mail is real. They make it look like the mail is coming from a real source, right? So somebody you know or somebody you trust. So you have to be careful with those as well. Okay, some fun and interesting stats. Globally, there's about 4 billion internet users today, okay? but there's more than 5.5 billion, almost 5.6 billion email accounts. So there's a lot of email accounts out there. Number of emails sent daily, almost 300 billion emails are sent daily across the world. And guess how many of them are actually spam? 130 billion emails. So about 40% of the emails that are sent are spam. So there's a lot of spam out there. And then phishing email, there's about 3.4 billion phishing emails daily. These are daily numbers, right? So there's a lot of bad people, doing a lot of bad things, sending me a lot of bad emails, trying to trick people into doing something that maybe they shouldn't be doing, right? They trick people into giving up their information. So always have to be careful. So how to identify phishing? If you look at this email, it looks like it's from YouTube. It looks pretty real, doesn't it? But it's not, right? Let me show you what you should look out for. Can everybody see it? Can everybody give me a thumbs up if they can see it, okay? Mark? Great, okay. So first thing you look out for, check the email address, okay? If it's from YouTube, it should say YouTube. It should be coming from YouTube, but this one is not, okay? Second thing you should look for, see it in this email it says one of your friends. It doesn't say who, but if it's real, usually it'll tell you your friend's name, right? So and so sent it to you, but this is not because they don't know who it is. They're just trying to trick you. And then lastly on this one, see all the little links? Check the links as well, because normally in a real email, those links should be coming from YouTube, right? They wouldn't be coming from other sites. So a lot of phishing emails, they will have links to other sites. So check those links. Okay? Moving on, another example. Now this time I'm gonna ask Lawrence to open up the mics for everybody. I'd like everybody to maybe raise their hand and guess, what is bad about this email? How could you, and then I want you guys to give me the answers. And then afterwards we can go through it. One at a time. Yep. Lawrence, can you open up the mics? Or if people raise their hand,
they can unmute themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to guess? What's wrong with this email?
I've got it.
I've got it.
Ma family and amusement? Lucas?
Apple, they're spelled APP and there's a 1, it's not an L.
Very good.
Very good. Nice. They'll trick you because it looks like Apple, right? If you're not looking at the email closely, you may think it's an L, not an 1, right? So a lot of bad people try to use similar names to try to trick people, right? Anybody else? Nathan has his hand up. Nathan, why don't you put yourself on mute?
It says Dear Apple customers, but it should say Dear and then your name on it.
Very good. Very good. Again, if it's from Apple, you should say Dear so-and-so, right? It wouldn't give you general, because what attackers do or what bad people do is this one email, they'll send it to hundreds of thousands of people. They'll send it to a million people. So they cannot put people's name on it, right? So they make it generic, and then they send it out and they trick people. Anything else? Anybody else can see anything else? Potentially you need to check or it could be bad? No?
The link, it should say like at Apple or like the website or like the Apple website.
Yes, perfect. Great, Isaac. That was great. Yes, so those are the things you should look out for, right? So Apple, again, it should be L not at 1. That's one that a lot of bad people use, right? So you gotta double check that. Again, that should be personalized, right? Who is sending it to, and then check the links. Right? Always check the links, right? Because it's always important, because it should be coming from Apple if it's an Apple email. Now, something slightly different. This is SMS phishing, more so for your parents than for the kids, because most of your kids don't have phones. I guess the older ones do, but more for the parents. Now, parents will get SMS messages all the time, and these are some real examples that were posted, right? So what are these emails, or what are these SMS trying to do? They're on a very important topic, right? COVID-19 is a very important topic. So what they're trying to do is play on people's emotions, right? And bad guys know that if it's something important and urgent, they'll look more likely they'll get a response from the individual, right? So somebody looks at this, oh, information about COVID must be really important. They click on the link. What will happen? May download a malware, right? And then it may crash your phone, may crash your device, may do something else that may steal your information. So just be careful, right? If you get these things and you're not really sure where it's from, my advice is just to delete them, right? It's better safe than sorry. Now, I'm going to show you guys a real example, okay? This was a real example taken from the internet. It's a very interesting one, okay? So this email looks like it's coming from the Australia tax office, right? And it's telling us that, hey, you're eligible for a tax refund. Ooh, we're gonna get some money from the government. People are gonna get excited, right? So what do they do? And it tells you, don't delay, right? It tells you if you submit invalid information, it'll delay the processing. Or if you don't submit your application on time, it will delay the process, right? And then they click on a link. So they make you think, hey, I need to do it now. There's a sense of urgency, right? And then people go and click on the link. So what happens when you click on the link? It takes you to a site like that. It looks real, right? It looks like it's from the tax office, but it's not. If you look at the link up top, it's actually not from the tax office. Okay? It's actually coming from somewhere else. So you gotta be careful, right? A lot of bad people today, what they'll do is they'll take the information from a real website, they'll copy the information out, and then they'll create a website that looks very similar to the real one. So what does it ask? It asks you to fill in your email information, your birthday, and then you click on search. After you click on search, it asks you for more personal information. It asks you for your credit card information. It even asks you for your driver's license information. And this looks very real, right? And then the bad guys are expecting you to type this in because, again, you're emotional. Oh, I'm going to get a tax refund, so I better type this in and give this information so I can get the money right away. But again, you got to be careful, right? It looks very real, but when you actually look at it, there's some information that you have to be really worried about, right? Things like here. You shouldn't be giving out your credit card information if you can. A lot of sites do. It's unfortunate. Online shopping, there's a lot of sites that do, but just be careful. Make sure you understand where you're actually typing in that information and where it's going to. But what is more interesting is estimate balance, verify by Visa password, driver's license. Those are things that you never see usually, and so you have to question that information right before you actually give it out. If you look at here also, there's one spelling mistake, minor spelling in a license. These are all little indicators you should actually look at the website before you enter in information, right? Because it does really look real when you look at it if you look at it quickly. So please be careful. After that, when you submit, it even tells you, thank you for submitting your request. And after they do that, they actually will redirect you to the real government website. So at the end of this whole thing, they send you to the real ATO website, so it looks real. So this was something out there back a few years ago, but it's something to be really aware of, right? It's dangerous. Some of these emails and these scams will do. It's just basically out there to make money, right? Steal your information to make money. So be careful. So some tips to consider. Most phishing emails play on people's emotions, right? The bad guys want you to act quickly. So be careful. If you're not expecting it, then you should really take your time to read it completely, right? Don't react so quickly. Don't click on links. Don't open attachments. Read the email completely first. Check who it's from before you actually take any action. And if you're not sure, you have any doubts, right? Try to verify who is sending you the email or the SMS, right? Reach out to the company or person and, hey, did you guys send this? Is this real? Just reach out to them, right? Better safe than sorry. And then again, if you have any doubts that you can't verify, I recommend you delete it, right? And again, it's better safe than sorry. If it's really that important and it's real, they'll contact you again. They'll send you the message again, right? So no rush to click on things, right? And if you're not sure, kids, go and ask your parents as well, right? Go through it together with your parents. Now, social media, everybody's favorite, right? All the kids' favorite. Yeah, I see Isaac stick out his thumb. So what is social media? Social media is any online application, website, platform where you can share information, connect with people, chat, etc. Right? So just listed some of the more popular ones out there. Some of the risks out there, potential risks out there. Cyberbullying, when we all know about cyberbullying, right? We're all familiar with that. That is a real risk for everybody. Inappropriate, upsetting content, so being exposed to that, meeting strangers and then sharing personal information with people, and then posting information that can be used against you, and then also fake information, fake news. So what can we do about that? Think about what you say, write, post, and share online, because it will be very hard for you to delete it, right? Make sure, right, that if whatever you post, it can't be used in ways that make you unhappy, right? Like photos especially. You take the photos, somebody share it, and then somebody takes a screenshot and share it with somebody else. If it's not the best picture of you, maybe reconsider posting that. It may be fun, it may be good at the time, but think about it. If you can't delete it, it may come back in the future, and you may not want people to see it. And look, stealing identity, right? Really, you have to worry about what you post because people are trying to steal your information, steal your identity, and make money off of that. Only friend people that you know. So very simple, if you know them and you are friends with them in real life, yeah, go friend them. But try not to friend people that you don't really know, because you don't know who's really behind the keyboard, right? Who's actually talking to you. You may think it's a 12-year-old kid, but it could be a 50-year-old fat man sitting in front of a computer. You don't know, right? Because you can't see them. It could be anybody, right? It could be anybody pretending to be somebody else. So you have to be careful. Consider changing the security and privacy setting on your social media websites. And what that will help you do is limit who can view your information. Also, who can forward, repost, share the information, what they can share as well, right? And find out, okay, on those social media sites, how to report a problem. All social media sites will give you an email address, a link or something where you can actually go and reach out to them if you have a problem, right? And and they will try to help you out. So if you don't know what it is, like for YouTube, go and find out what the email is or how to reach out to them. All of them have it. Okay. And then speak to somebody you trust, right? Your parents, your teachers, your friends, if you have anything, any concerns, you run into any problem. It's always good to talk to other people. Don't keep it inside yourself. Okay. What else? So what else? Here's some other information that will be helpful to you to keep yourself safe online. Passwords. Passwords is a very important thing for everybody. So you guys gotta learn how to manage your passwords, how to set up good passwords. Okay. This is a website, a real website, and it's a very useful website. It's run by a very well-known Australian cybersecurity expert named Troy Hunt. And what this website has, it contains lists of stolen personal information that's found on different parts of the internet, found on the dark web. And dark web is basically where all the bad guys hang out. It's a different network than the internet, but the bad guys like to hang out there because you can keep your identity safe. People don't know who you are on the dark net, so a lot of interesting things and bad things go on there, right? And they, a lot of people sell stuff that they've stolen. In this case, the stolen identities of people on the dark web. So on this site, on this site, there's 10 billion, less than 10 billion accounts that have been hacked or available on the internet of people around the world. So what you can do here is you can actually type in your email, and it'll tell you if your email is appeared on any of these lists. So what I've done is I've just typed in some email from Yahoo, and look what happened. Oh no, this email just appeared on 2 breach lists, right? Even tells you where it came from. So these 2 sites. And then also it tells you what information was leaked out. So it's not just your username, not just your password, but also, your gender, your phone number, your physical address, your social media profile, your IP address, a lot of different information, right? So it depends on which site you go to and what information you give, people can get a lot of information about you. So you gotta be careful. So be mindful what you give out. So if you do this test, right, and you see your email address pop up in this list, please go and change your password. Not just on those sites, but every other site that you may have used the same password. Please go change it. Next, on the same website, there's a section about passwords, right? So on this website, they have a list of 573 million different passwords that has appeared on the internet. That's a lot of passwords, right? So if you can actually type in your password on this page, well, not your password, but just type in a password that you want to check. So how do you guys like that? Was that funny?
Yes.
Please don't share your password if you can, okay? Maybe with your parents is okay, but please don't share your password to anybody, okay? Now on to what they learned. So let's talk about how to create a good password, okay? This advice comes from this website below, ACSC. It's a government cybersecurity website. Okay, so some of the content is coming from that site. So the longer the password, the better it is, right? So they recommend at least 14 characters. I know 14 characters is long, and I know most people's password is probably not 14 characters, but really, the longer the password, the better it is, because it will take hackers a lot longer to try to crack your password. consider using a passphrase. What a passphrase is just think about a phrase, mashing the words together, or those words together to become a password for you, right? So they recommend using 4 words. And this one, the last point there, create a funny image in your mind. That's my own advice. I use that. You know, you create a funny image in your mind that you can always remember, and then use that to create a password. Here's an example, right? I have a dog flying to the moon, okay? So I could create a password. It's very easy to remember that, right? Or remember that image in your mind. So you can have a password like this, super dog flying moon. Super long, 18 characters long, so it's great, right? But it's very easy to remember. There's other ways that you can do it, but this is one I recommend. You know, when I at work and I talk to people, I recommend using that, right? You can make something else funny, right? There was one example I gave at work where somebody riding a horse jumping off of the bridge onto a jet ski. So I just put Bob, horse, jump, jet ski. Silly, very silly, but very easy to remember. Things to avoid for your password, okay? Don't repeat characters, right? Don't use single dictionary words, and don't use single dictionary words and repeat that. Like, for example, I don't know, let's use flower, flower. That's pretty long, but you just use the same word twice. Those are very easy for the bad guy to crack. So don't do that. Try not to give personal information in your don't use personal information in your passwords, and don't use common phrases. No, I talked about using a phrase to build a password, but don't use common ones, right? Like movie quotes, song lyrics, company logos, company slogans. Don't use that, right? Because the hackers know that you guys are going to do that, right? Use something different, okay? So flying dog to the moon is not common. It's like you can remember that very easily, right? So try doing something like that. And if you can, use multi-factor authentication. So if somebody ever is able to steal your account and steal your password without the multi-factor authentication, they won't be able to get into your account. So what it is a multi-factor just requires you to not just give your username, your password, but also ask you for some type of code that you have to type into the site or to the application before it lets you in. Two of the, there's different ways of doing it. Some of them use SMS, some of them use email, some of them use authenticator apps, and I just showing you 2 different ones. Google has an authenticator app and Microsoft has an authenticator app.